What's happening?
Nothing. What's happening with you?
Not a lot.
Okay.
Don't have any things or stuff or anything like that going on.
So I did hear rumor that you had some things going. The rumor got even deeper when supposedly you're in the market for some markers, I heard.
Oh yeah. I don't know.
Tell me all about this.
I can't justify it.
Why not?
I don't know. Cause I'll use them one time and then be like, I got them.
Well, that's the thing. If you get an enormous set of markers, you've got to use them.
Yeah. And I think I would.
They're fancy markers, right?
I've been drawing a lot digitally lately.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fun and all. But then I see people drawing on Instagram or wherever, YouTube or whatever. And
Comparison is the thief of joy.
well, they're drawing with markers and stuff. And it just looks so much more zen to me than drawing on the iPad.
Oh.
Like drawing on the iPad just feels, it doesn't feel like I'm cheating, but it's easier.
Uh-huh.
Like if I make a mistake, I can just fix it.
Yeah.
If you draw in real life, you make a mistake, you either have to start over or work around it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's more finality to a analog drawing, and I'm not saying that's superior or better.
Right.
But there's something about like your hand starting to hurt because of, like when you're drawing on the iPad, I've noticed, at least for me, my hand doesn't cramp up as much as when I draw in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why that is. It might be just because there's no I don't know. I don't know what causes it, but when I draw on real paper with real pens and pencils and stuff, my hand will ache after a bit. Whereas on the iPad, I don't get that. And I don't know what that is, but there's some detachment from how I started drawing as a kid, right? It was just on paper and pencil. So I think about that like a lot. And I watch other people masterfully use these Copic markers to do beautiful pieces of art. And I go, should be able to do that. But then I tell myself, oh, you can't do that. Or I don't know. I would spend the same amount of money on something else without even thinking about it. But I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it's a waste of money, but
I don't think it's a waste.
Yeah,
I think you have adult money now.
Right.
You're allowed to do some adulting.
Right. But, and at the same time, like there's something to be said for buying stuff that fuels creativity.
Yeah. Like if you had a huge set of markers, you would draw more on paper and, you'd marker more.
That's what I like to believe.
Yeah, I think so.
I like to believe that.
Yeah.
Anyways, I like art, and I've never really given it my full attention.
Yeah.
It's always been kind of like a side thing.
There's always been a lot of pressure to it.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I constantly drawing, and I got good, right? Like professional level good as a kid, where people were telling me, "Oh, this is your future. This is what you should do for a living," and that's a lot pressure. For a kid. Yeah, especially now that I understand like how my brain actually functions. I've had ADHD my whole life. I've never been medicated for it. I've just always coped with it in ways of like convincing myself that I don't have it, which I think is a powerful tool, but it doesn't really do anything. It just mitigates, right?
Yeah.
And thinking back now on all of that, of course I shut down. Of course I let that pressure get to me and decided, okay, this is not something that I need to do something else with my creativity. Yeah. That's how I ended up in the web, I think, is because I wanted to do something that was creative, but didn't have all the pressure of competing in the art space with so many people and again, like you said earlier, comparison is the theft of joy, right? But how can you not? Like my mind constantly compares me and my situations to other people as a way to like connect me to those people. And so that's how my brain functions. So it's impossible for me to just go, well, some people are better and some people are worse. Yeah. No big whoop. I go, why can't I get there? What is wrong with me that I can't get to that point? Yeah. And the truth is it's rationally, it's just, I need to practice more. Right. That's the truth. Not that I'm actually bad at it, but I got hit with this, you're so talented
Yeah.
line of bullshit, really. Like, that's not, I wasn't good at drawing because I was talented. I was good at drawing because I did it all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And so that's, in order to be better at drawing, I just have to do it all the time again, but I don't do it all the time because I've, all those things we just talked about.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I have a very small set of Copic markers, and I've done a bunch of drawings with those markers, but it's limited because it's just like a few colors, right? And so you can't really do nice stuff.
But how many colors exist?
358 colors
358
in the sketch line. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think if you build it, they will come. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you encouraging me to spend an enormous amount of money on coloring markers. But
well, here's the thing: when you grow up with very little,
yeah,
and then you get to be an adult, you can go one of two ways. You can go wild and waste a lot, or you can put it in the right. If it makes you happy and it fulfills that little thing in your brain about, well, when I was, I remember not having something and now I have that something, as long as it doesn't get out of hand, I think that it's a healthy thing to do. It's like, you're treating your little brain, you know, I don't know how to explain it.
I don't want to say specifically the amount of money because it's stupid amount of money, but
but they're
they're
on sale right now too.
Well, they're not on sale. It's just like through the specific store, I can get them cheaper than through the manufacturer, right? So it's about 50% less than if I bought them directly.
I get it.
But if I had come to you this morning and it had been magic, can I get this amount of magic cards? You would not have been like,
okay, but it's not like you're asking my permission. It's that, hey, is it cool with you, right?
Yeah, I was running it by you. And you immediately were like, yeah, get them, high five. But I feel like if it had been something not markers.
No, because I've never said.
If I said, can I get this much impossible grounds? And.
All right. So while we're on the topic of this.
Well, hold on.
You, the other week, you got some naan bread, which I love naan bread.
Yeah.
And you love naan bread. And then we found vegan naan bread. Yeah. So you made us some naan bread. And then there was no more naan bread.
Yeah.
And then you were like, I should get us some more naan bread.
Right.
And you got all of the naan bread in the Memphis metro area.
The tri-state area.
And now we have so much naan bread that it's like every time I think of naan bread, I go, ooh, naan bread. In a good way, but then also my stomach is like, please, can we just chill out on the naan bread a little bit?
Take a little bit of a naan bread break.
But our freezer now is pretty packed with naan bread and pretty happy with it. So that makes us happy, right?
Yeah.
And we have adult money and we can adult however we want.
Yeah. And I mean, if the world is coming to a screeching halt, we should probably just enjoy the time we have left with naan bread and markers, right?
And that's what I'm saying to you.
Okay.
Is that get the markers, If the markers feel like a thing that's going to not really heal a wound, but satisfy a little, part of you, then
yeah, I've always wanted a full set of, not this brand specifically because they didn't exist when I was a child, but just a full set of crayons.
Right, okay, so I was going to think
the 150 or whatever that set, 184 crayons I think it was when I was a kid, and I only ever got the little 6 packs of crayons.
Right, so as a kid I was so jelly about the kids who came to school and they had the 96 pack.
With the sharpener on the side?
It's like a carton. Yeah, there's a sharpener in the back. Yeah. And I was like, oh, what? I'll never be able to get that.
Yeah.
Never in a million years will I be able to get a 96 crayon pack.
Yeah.
Right? No, I probably could get the 96 crayon pack if I wanted to.
Do you want the 96?
So badly, because there's so many times where our little one wants to play and I'm like, oh, what should we play? And then she's like, do you want to color? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I want to color. So we'll sit there and we'll color for the longest time, just relaxing and coloring together. And it's great.
Yeah.
And I have colored pencils, which is my preferred coloring style, but I still coveting that 96 pack. You know, it's like it came with all the cool colors, not just the primary
Right.
6, you know? But, you know, you do with what you got to do with as a kid. But when you're older, get the 96 pack, you know?
Get the goddamn 96 pack. Yeah.
Get as much naan bread as you want or can, you know, you can afford. Just do the little things that make a little bit part of your brain happy.
Yeah.
Because, you know, time is not, it's not given to everyone for everything. And neither is money. But if you can, just get the crayons, get the markers, get the naan bread.
Have a little joy in your life where you can. And help others where you can too.
That too.
Yeah.
Okay, so raise your hand if you're glad August is almost over.
I'm not.
I am.
Why?
It is so hot, bro.
Oh, yeah. For the summer,
I go out there at 7:30 in the morning and it's already 89 degrees.
I just feel like the months are going by faster and faster these days.
I know, but the humidity is like 156% or something.
It's pretty gross.
Bananas out there, and I do not like it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to rake leaves. I'm trying to dig in my garden. I'm trying to run back and forth with my dog. And I just don't want to come in feeling like I just jumped in the pool or something.
Yeah, no, that's terrible. That's
and
horrible
breathing
news.
pudding. Like, it's not fun. It's not a fun time.
I don't like the pudding breath either.
Nah.
Or not breath, but breathing. I don't like the pudding breathing either.
No, it's a gross feeling, and I don't like it because then I have to have like 2 hours to recover inside in front of a fan after I've just soaked through every layer I have on.
Yeah.
So I have to go and change, and then I have to sit in front of a fan for 2 hours.
Yeah. I guess
not fun.
No, I guess I will come around to that with you. I think I am glad August is over, but for a different reason, just because it's been a stressful month for me work-wise.
Yeah.
And so like I'm trying to move towards a better situation there, and it looks like September is going to be better, generally speaking.
Yeah.
But August has been kind of a rough month, though. You know, we had our oldest son's birthday mid-August was nice, and
24.
Yeah, we talked about that.
24 years old.
Yeah, we talked about that last time, but that's like the only part of. So the summer, I'm in the summer, and Liam's in the summer, and those are only times in the summer that I think are like bright points because generally speaking, it's just getting hotter and hotter. When I was a kid, it didn't get, well, I also lived in Northern California for most of my life as a child, but it didn't get that hot in the summertime, right? And I feel like ever since I left California, with the exception of like Portland and Seattle, it's always been really hot wherever we lived in the summertime.
It's just not, it's not that fun.
No.
Like you can go outside for 10 or 15 minutes at a time and run back inside, but still you're sticky. That's not.
But also like there's not a lot you can get done outside when it's that hot because you don't want to like pass out. Right. Like get heat stroke or something.
I've pushed it
You push it all the time. Like every day you push it because you love being out there. But
still. Yeah. Sunscreen and a hat and long sleeves. And then
you do all the protective stuff, but you still just do too much work in that heat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's still kind of fun. But I don't like the sweating or the breathing of.
I think you don't even notice it until you come back in. I think when you're out there, you're like just doing stuff. And then you come back in and you're like, oh my goodness.
everything is just soaked. And I'm like, when did this happen?
I don't know if anybody else has this. I think most people probably didn't swim the way that I swam when I was a kid, but I didn't put on like I didn't go swimming with no underwear on.
Oh, okay.
Right. So when I went swimming, I had underwear on under my shorts, my swim trunks or whatever. And so then when you go inside to get out of your wet swim clothes, your underwear don't just come off. They kind of roll up down your legs because they're so wet. Yeah. And this might be just too much information.
No.
Well, they build underwear into the swim trunks, right? So you're not supposed to wear underwear with your swim trunks.
If you're an insecure kid, of course.
Well, it wasn't that. It was just like the t-shirt on while swimming was the insecurity. The underwear was just like, I feel like maybe I should still wear underwear. Like it feels weird not to because it's just a mesh lining or whatever.
Well, here's the fun thing for me. I don't swim. I can't swim, don't want to swim. I have a tiny little inkling
You
of
can
wanting.
swim. You just have a mental block that prevents you from swimming.
Okay, so I had one of those types of grown-ups who they thought if you just threw a kid in,
Yeah.
it would figure out how to swim. I didn't, and so yes, every time I think about swimming, I get really panicky, and I go, "There's definitely sharks or something in here." And so we just played in like knee-high creeks.
Yeah.
Which there's even more gross shit in a creek when you're so when you take off, and I too just would wear shorts, just regular normal shorts
Yeah.
and a shirt, and I'd go like just sit in the creek. And when you take that stuff off, yes, it rolls, it does the roll thing, but
Yeah.
then you've also got rocks and
Ew.
weeds and sometimes bugs or something just
Yeah.
in everywhere, and you're like, this is probably
I wasn't
the weirdest thing I've ever done.
I wasn't a good outdoor kid because I did not like being dirty and I
Yeah.
didn't like to play with my toys in the dirt and stuff. Like
Yeah.
I would get really bummed out like if a GI Joe figure got sand in its joints. Right. So I was very protective of my stuff because I didn't get a lot of things. Right.
Yes.
And so the toys that I did have, I didn't want to get them. I didn't want to wreck them because I wasn't going to get replacements.
Yeah.
And then also, like, I just don't like being wet or dirty, which is weird because I love swimming.
Yeah.
I'm very good at swimming. I like being in the water, but I don't like being wet for no reason. And I don't like being dirty. So, like, the
Yeah.
beach is bad for me.
Yes. But you were a trooper. We had a vacation
Oh, yeah,
at the
well,
beach one time, and you were a trooper. I mean, you didn't go in the water or do anything wild. You just like stood in the sand, but you didn't say one word about this is bad. We should go.
Well, I was trying to make it a good vacation for you guys and leave my anxiety out of it as much
Yeah.
as possible. I was,
It was
really
so
trying
hot there,
super
too.
hard. Yeah, it was very uncomfortable for me the whole time. Just
Yeah.
heat, beach,
I have
almost nude people walking around everywhere. It's like, this is too much. It's sensory overload for me.
Yes, I agree. I have one picture my whole entire life where I'm like, oh, I look so great. And it's at that beach, and I'm like trying to jump into the air, but I'm my face looks really happy. I don't know. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, we didn't get a picture of you actually in the air.
No, because how do you jump in sand very easily? I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough.
but-
It's tough to jump in sand. Even if you were like an Olympic athlete, it's hard to jump in sand. But
yeah.
sand is just tough, right?
Yeah.
But like even when I was a little kid, I wouldn't go into like a creek or any non-industrial pool without some sort of a swim shoe
Yeah.
on.
So, okay. Yeah.
Because I didn't want my feet touching the slimy rocks at the bottom or fish between my toes.
Oh, yeah. If you go into the creek, you got to wear shoes.
Nah, I'm not into any of that. So
You're a city kid. I get it.
I'm not a city kid though. I much prefer the woods and being out in nature and far away
Just
from
not touching it.
certain things like slime.
Yeah. I'm with you on the
Right?
slime.
Wet grass feels weird, but
Yeah.
dry grass feels fine.
I get it.
I know it's weird,
No, it's not weird.
right? But
No.
I don't like to think about like bugs crawling on me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like at night you take the flashlight
Yeah.
to go out with the dogs, and you see the grass sparkling, and you're like, oh, that's really cool. But you go closer and it's just spiders.
Yeah.
They're spider eyes that are
Yeah.
glowing in the
Yeah.
dark of the
Not-
flashlight.
Not
and you're
interested.
Like,
Not interested. We get a lot of spiders here.
yes, but
And big boys, like big spider boys.
I'm okay with it.
I know that you're okay with it on like a mental level. I am not.
I know I've had to relocate
Yeah.
several spiders because you're just like, nah.
Well, I'm not going to let that one spider give birth right above the back door. That seems like a bad situation.
We moved her.
I know. I appreciate that.
We moved her to the pumpkin patch. She's fine.
All right. My back
Still no
is hurting.
pumpkins yet. Your back is hurting.
So this is going to be a short episode. Just kidding. But you want to start talking
Yes,
about,
I'm
we did a
sorry.
game again.
We did a game, and we played like 12 games of it.
13.
13
We played
games of it.
13 and you won 11 of those 13.
Here's the cool part about this game is that you can play it a couple of different ways.
Oh yeah. So the game is called Cardline Animals, and it's from the same line as Timeline, but Timeline was one aspect. So you would just put cards in order of their sequence of when they happen in time. So like we have a Star Wars version, so it's basically the first three movies, the original three movies,
The original three.
4, 5, and 6.
Yes.
And you have a card and it says what it is and it shows a picture from the movie and you got to put it in order with the other cards on the table.
Yeah.
And you keep going. The first person to dump their last card, as long as the other persons at the table can't also play their last card, wins the game.
Yeah.
And that's the game. But this one is an evolution of that series of Timeline called Cardline. And it's got 3 different aspects you can play by. And this one is the animals one. So you can play by length, weight, or average age. And they're all averages, right? And we played most of the games with length because I think that's the easiest one to try to guesstimate.
Yeah.
If you don't know. Weight, we did a couple of games with weight. We did none with age because age is, I think,
Yeah.
unless you're an animal expert, age would be impossible.
Lifespan, like, the flamingo. Do you know the average lifespan of a flamingo?
No idea.
It's 13 years. Like, I didn't know that, but
Yeah.
do you relatively know how tall a flamingo
Right.
is? Right. It's about,
It's a little bit easier to guesstimate. Like you said, what did you say? You said, I imagine the animals holding each other to try to determine.
right. So you lay one card out to start
Right.
and say it's the green frog.
Yeah.
And the green frog is, and then you flip it over and it has all the stats of the green frog. And the green frog is 3.1 inches, 0.7 ounces, can live as long as 8 years.
And so all the numbers are averages.
Right. So you put that down in the very middle, and each player has four animals, but they're turned over, so you can't see their stats.
Yeah.
So then you've got to try to basically put, okay, I have the boar. Is it larger or smaller, depending on,
Right.
whatever. And it's obviously going to be larger. So you put it to the right of that card.
Right.
And this guy is 4.4 feet.
Yeah.
So he's obviously bigger than 3.1 inches.
And so if you get it right, you add it to the line of cards, and now you're down one card.
Yeah, which is what you want.
If you get it wrong, you discard that card and you draw a new card.
Yeah.
So you're kind of staying in the same place.
But if you get similar, like the sea lion and then the seal,
Yeah.
do you know which one's bigger? Do you know which one's heavier? Do you know which one like lives longer? It gets harder and harder as time goes by, and each member or each
More cards on the table
player, yes.
makes it harder and harder. Yeah.
yes, like I didn't know a red squirrel only weighed 10.6 ounces.
Yeah. One of our games.
You kept putting birds as like heavy. And I'm like, dude, they fly. They're like hollow.
Well, to be fair, they were big birds. So like the eagle, I know is a pretty big bird. So I figured, okay, it's got to be in the pounds, right?
But I don't know.
Yeah.
It was very comical at times. And then we just ended up sort of like helping each other at some point. And I'm like, wait, I'm trying to win these, man.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
You still were winning. I just think so for me, it became less of a game of competitiveness and more of a lesson and education and learning about these animals.
Yes, we were trying to find out some information. And that's also why I think maybe co-op games are so popular, is because it just gets kind of lonely almost if you're playing against each other all of the time.
Yeah, I could see that.
And you're like, man, I just wish I had somebody to bounce ideas off of, or, something like that.
But to be clear, this is not a co-op game. I just started playing co-op.
It was just quite fun.
Yeah.
Like a dusty grouper is like, so it's like a fishy thing.
So that one's funny because I happen to know for a fact.
you would say, I happen to know for a fact. So many times I'm like, you're not an animal person. What are you saying? But you didn't know for a fact that a dusty grouper was 143 freaking pounds.
I know. I was like, I happen to know for a fact that a dusty grouper is smaller than an eagle. And it turns out it's bigger than a boar.
Yeah. Well, I know a lot about animals because that's kind of my thing-ish. But I didn't know like a tuna could be like 6'6".
Yeah, 600 pounds.
Oh my heavens. That was a lot.
Those were really surprising to me. But then remember I started saying like throughout, I started saying, oh, remember, because they're in the water, they probably can grow to be a lot heavier than if they were on land.
Right.
So that's kind of a trick because you go, oh, a fish that's only 6 foot long can't be more than like 300 pounds. But it can be 600 pounds because it's in the water. So there's some buoyancy there. It's not really 600 pounds in water.
Right.
Right. And so then we had a lot of that.
The Komodo dragon really threw me off.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
the tail.
Because there's instructions in here that birds are from
foot to head.
Yeah, head to foot. But lizards, they can go from tip to tail.
Yeah.
But every other animal, it's just the base of their body, not their tails.
Yeah, don't count the tail.
Except for lizards. And I'm like, oh, the Komodo dragon can't be that long. Yeah. It's 8.8 feet.
Yeah.
Good night.
Yeah, it was really fun.
I really lost that one.
To learn the game. And like, there's just the art is beautiful. And there's no cruelty on any of the art.
Right.
Although I will say they have man in here, but not woman.
Yeah, even though there's a lady on the cover.
Yeah, the cover of the game is a lady, but they put a man as one of the cards.
In here. Huh.
Which is like
the
whatever.
Average man is only 5'6".
Yeah, I got a lot on that guy.
What? Yeah. You're like a whole foot.
But then I was thinking about it too, like something that I found striking was that like some things can be very heavy, but not very large.
Yeah.
You know, or they can be very large and not very heavy. Like the giant anteaters, and not counting its tail, is 6'9". So that's, 2 inches larger than me.
Yeah.
But only 92 pounds.
Like how?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Right. But then you have something like the African elephant is 23 feet, which is pretty big, but 6.6 tons.
Yes. And then we figured out that the Asian elephant is bigger than the African elephant.
No,
right?
Smaller.
Oh, it was smaller than the African elephant. But goodness, it was fun. That's how we were able to play so many rounds of it.
Yeah.
Because it was just
we played through the whole deck.
Yeah, we played through the whole deck. Let's just keep going. It was fun. Yeah. I liked it.
I like the game a lot. We're definitely going to keep it. It doesn't take up a lot of room.
It's a nice little 2-player type of thing.
Yeah, and you can play it with as many players as I think it goes up to 4.
8, it says.
8 players.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can play with as many as 8 players, and
that's great.
It's just beautiful. I think it's very educational.
That too.
The timeline ones are like that too. They're like based in music or history.
Yeah, and we did play a couple rounds of the Star Wars one.
We did the Star Wars one for 3 games or 4 games. And then, the other timelines we've played before, but this Cardline one was a new release. And it has bigger cards.
Yeah.
The original timeline ones have the really small, tiny Euro cards, which a lot of people don't like the mini ones, but these are the standard size Euro cards.
Mm-hmm.
So they feel like a regular size card. They're easier to shuffle. They have more room for art. Yeah, just overall, I really enjoyed the game.
Yeah, it's very nice.
If they come out with other ones with cool themes or cool data, I'll probably look into those too, just because the learning experience is just fun, right? And those kinds of like little pieces of trivia then stick in your head, and somebody will be like, what's the average size of a redfin tuna? And you'd be like,
you can go,
661 pounds, I happen to know for a fact.
Yeah, exactly. I happen to know a peregrine falcon is in the ounces, bro. In the ounces.
Oh, that was surprising.
Yeah.
I thought falcons were big.
21 ounces.
Yeah, that's a tiny bird.
16 and a half inches.
That's
very light.
Yeah.
Very, very light.
Small bird.
They can live like 16 years. It's amazing. Animals are amazing.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't be able to do some of the other ones, the other themed ones you have, like historical facts. I
wouldn't be good at those either, but the educational part of it, right?
I guess, but you'd have to go like really super duper slow. You'd have to like, really think about it.
I think that'd be all right.
Animal one, lots of people have either watched shows about animals or been around animals enough that you can kind of like visualize it a bit.
Yeah, but think about it this way. We've both watched Star Wars a bunch, and we played Star Wars way slower because we were like, wait a minute. When did they first see the Death Star again?
But at the same time, they did a little sneaky thing, which I'm not okay with.
Yeah.
They put in deleted scenes that then were added in for the DVD releases.
Yeah, like when Han meets Jabba.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because that didn't happen in the OG.
No, but it happened in the released movies now, right? So that's why it's in the game.
That's silly.
But it did make it like threw a wrench for us. We're like, oh, and then I was like, stupid things like, what is a Bacta tank? Like,
yeah, but like when do we see the Death Star?
Right.
The very first appearance of the Death Star. Well,
the first appearance stuff is hard, right? Because you're like, well, that's in all the movies, and then like, when did we first see it?
You have to
Was
really,
that in the opening?
you have to use all the logic that you've got based on the thing that you may or may not know a lot.
And
of.
some things happen, like what we were talking about with Empire, is some things happen at the same time, basically.
Yeah, because the group is split up.
The group is split, and so they're cutting back and forth, and so you're like, oh, wait a minute, okay, did this scene with Lando happen before this scene with Leia?
Yeah.
Even though in the movie they're cutting back and forth.
Yes.
It's harder to remember.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. So
yeah.
Anyways,
but they're
fun games. Yeah.
And they're quick and they're small and compact and they have this little cute tin. It's nice.
Yeah, we played 13 games of this
in like
less than 2 hours.
Yeah. Way less. It was like an hour.
You think so?
Yeah, it wasn't that long at all.
I wasn't really keeping track of time. I was just having a good time learning about dragonflies and mallards.
Aw.
So anyways, yeah, that's a good game. If folks want us to keep doing games, then let us know. Like, we don't mind. We're not going to just do games all the time. But this Cardline game came in between last episode and this one. And so I wanted to do it. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
I thought it would be quick, that we could play like a lot of games of it. Do you have any like downsides to the game?
Downsides? No, not really. No, I liked it.
You don't have any problems with it? I don't think so either. Like, well, I mean, I guess the man,
put a woman in there too.
Yeah.
Just
put both. Yeah. I'm not saying replace the man with woman. I'm saying like do both.
Yeah.
So that, then, cause those things are going to be very similar.
Yes.
And then that's going to be a harder decision to make.
Yeah.
And then trying to figure out when the man came out, I will say it was a bit harder to determine animal sizes according to the man size, even though we both have lived experience, right? Like, so that was interesting, an interesting thing. Yeah, I don't really have any complaints about the game. Maybe I don't like that it comes in a metal tin. I'm not a big fan of those. They sometimes get banged up in shipping, and they're harder to store.
Yeah, they don't go together very easily.
They don't. They ostensibly stack, but they don't. Right?
Yes.
Like
maybe
the
one or
purpose
two.
is that they're supposed to stack, but they don't really stack.
Maybe one or two stacks, but not like if you get the whole 4 or 5 of them that there are.
Yeah, so I have them in a basket because they just don't really fit anywhere else.
Yeah.
And they're a form factor that doesn't fit on the shelf with other kinds of board games too. So, but that's okay. I think I have a basket for all the fluxes too, because that's a similar situation there.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fluxes.
Yeah, we do.
Anyways, all right. So this is good, I think. Again, if people want us to do other games in the future, just comment on the YouTube video or on our Instagram. Let us know if you like these episodes or if you want us to not do these episodes.
Yeah, or if you want us to stop talking or
whatever.
Just
just give us some feedback on what you want to hear us talk about more often, because we're open to that. And, we like just having chat sometimes, but other times we like to have something to like focus on and work through. And I think in a lot of ways, not unlike my website, my personal website, this podcast also reflects our ADHD in a way, like, because we have a lot of interests, right? Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of people are a lot of things. They're not just one thing. And you don't have to be just one thing.
Yeah, I've fought against that for a long time in my life, is people saying, oh, you need to focus, you need to specialize, focus. And I'm like, I don't want to.
I don't.
I want to do all the things. Let me make a movie. Let me make an album. Let me draw a comic book. Let me write a novel. I think
our, you know, humans are so dynamic that we can be whatever we want and in as many different categories as we want. Because if we put ourselves in a box, let alone what our you know, our grown-ups do for us as kids, but like if we put ourselves in a box, we're not doing ourselves very good.
Yeah. Also like we do that with our work already, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of times we'll just be like, I'm going to just, you know, there's career changes and job changes and stuff. But for the most part, when you start your career path, you kind of stay in the same industry, in the same job role.
Yeah. And how fun is that always?
It can't be that. I love my work that I do, but sometimes I'm like, I'm just doing this a lot.
Yeah, right.
Right? Like I like to do a little other thing, like something on the side with markers maybe.
A whole lot of things with a whole lot of markers is what I vote for.
Oh, that'd be awesome. All right.
Well, on the next episode of Lou and Me, we're going to talk about our power couple name, because even after we're coming up on 26 years and we still have not solidified and agreed upon our power couple name, you know? You know what I'm saying?
We still haven't agreed on it yet.
No. So on the next episode, look forward to that.
To power names?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't say it because I don't agree.
All right. I love you.
I love you too.
If you enjoyed this episode of the Lou and Me podcast, subscribe on iTunes, YouTube, or Spotify.
And follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Lou and Me Podcast.
Lou and Me is a Matthiasaurus production, produced and edited by Moose. The song is No Carpets by the New Forevers, hosted by Lou and me.
Thanks for listening.